Videotape on? Every videotape starts from the back of my head. Not that stuff. That's all right. Alright, 1 minute left. Clock is ticking. 6 o'clock.
Already got it back in there, my time, I realized. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order, it's, 6 o'clock. Meeting's called to order. First thing on the roll call. And we'll go off the last ones. Chris Lilly?
Yep.
Yes, there's it. Scott Stilgenbauer,
No.
absent. Chief Alanis,
You're present.
Joyce Lopez,
Not present.
Tim Gatto, present. John Pettis,
Present.
Michael Alonso. Present.
Are you the designee for
I'm the
the?
designee for Scott Stilgerbauer, Heston Clink.
Okay, we have just a quorum. We have enough. Next on the agenda will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next item, number 4, the consent agenda, approval of the minutes of the meeting on June 20th, 2019. Has everybody looked over the minutes? Any changes, amendments, or everybody have any questions on it?
No changes.
No.
Okay. Can
Did you make a motion to
we
approve?
do?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, John Pettit makes a motion to approve the minutes of last meeting, June 20th. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So the second, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, next item be new business. Discussion on quarterly drills. Past drills, review and discussion on final Q2 drill report.
So this was sent, I think there was enough time for everybody to review it. And I asked, Chief, I saw a few comments come back.
Yeah.
Did you want to include those as part of the minutes, or?
I'll just some observations I made. I don't know if it's because you guys asked for some feedback. So I figured I put in some opportunities and stuff in there that we can look forward to or working on and things I saw. I don't know if we should add it to the notes or
Okay.
not, but I just I try to cover all the points
Mhm.
and try to make some comments on those.
I think those would be good to include in the future drill plans, of just, like you said, opportunities and different ways to.
Yeah. Exactly. That was a good one. That's why I read it and I made some comments, and I think it'd be good.
When I was reading through one of the other agenda items that we have for tonight, I realized that I don't know if we've ever taken, as part of a drill, any of our responders underground as part of our orientation. I don't know if we've ever
No.
done that.
But that's a full day class, right? Workshop?
Well, it's
I think
no,
we'll
it's
visitor without.
a visitor, so it's about an hour of training, teaching you how to use the self-rescuer.
Will first responders ever go underground?
No,
So
I
you have
think
them
when
on
you're
this?
reading through here, the only time they'd ever go underground is when they're escorted and they receive that training. But we'll talk about that during the next session, but I just wanted to put that as a feeler, just as somewhere, maybe we can plan for it in 2020 or 2021.
I think it's a good plan for 2020 because you never know. You guys get busier and you might need some maybe an extra medic and start some IVs at a station. Not necessarily back in the mine, maybe just straight down the shaft or something. That's life saving right there if you can do that. But we can probably plan it for next year and see how we can go about it. But I think it's a very good idea. And I do know there's people in my department who are willing to do that. So that kind of threw the idea around a little bit and said, oh yeah, well we're good,
And it depends on the call. If somebody's trapped and you need to get down and stabilize them to keep them alive while they're doing the extrication, that would be very useful. it's like 15 minutes down and 15 minutes up. So if you got a patient who's extracted, it's much faster just to bring them to surface.
Oh, yeah.
But if somebody's trapped down there and you have to work on extricating them, it'll be very useful.
So I don't think there's any action here other than discuss the plan that was submitted and completed in the last quarter. Did we have a plan then for the new drill coming up?
Not yet, we talked briefly about what could possibly be up on top, or be under air and stuff. I haven't got with Scott and fully kind of planned that one out, but we did briefly talk about it right at the end of our last drill, and I said, that's a good idea,
Okay.
up there in your compressor house, or up there on top of the hill.
When he gets back, I'll reach out to him and just make sure that we get that finalized on
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it turned out to look like. Okay.
That'd be an upcoming drill, for sure.
Just the date is all we have at this time, right?
Yeah.
Set for-
Something to consider too is if you ever do a fire drill or something, these guys have a monster smoke machine. You could smoke out the admin at number 9 and pretend to do an evacuation on that very easily. But, sorry, aside, back to what you're doing.
That might not be a bad idea.
Well, they tried to use it in the refrigeration building on this last drill. I guess we had some problems with it. Is that right?
They said it worked, but since it was such a long time span before we got there, they did it right at the beginning, and it just dissipated
Okay.
off the hopper. But it did work pretty good, they said.
So we don't have any changes to the drill? The write-up, we're good?
I like it, as long as you guys like my response, if we put them in there somewhere, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
It works.
Maybe we can get that into the minutes then.
A motion to approve the report with the additions of Chief's comments would be my suggestion. And then,
Okay.
and then we just attach the Chief's comments to it.
That a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the report with the addition of the chief's
Okay, just
comments
makes
as
the
an
motion.
amendment to the report.
You have a second?
I'll second that. Did you have a copy of that we can provide tonight? or is
He
that-
emailed it to us.
Oh,
Yeah. You know,
The clerk will pull out a copy and put it attached to the minutes. So it makes sense.
All in favor of attaching that report?
Aye.
Any opposed to it? Okay, good. Any other discussion on the drill?
That's item 1 still, right? We're on that.
so just the upcoming drills, I think in 2020, we want to try and incorporate that underground aspect, which we'll talk about as part of the emergency services, or emergency response plan. And then when Scott comes back, we'll have a meeting, probably a telephone call to coordinate the next drill.
Okay, no, that's a good idea. I like to keep people used to the underground. Like I said, I did it a long time, 6 years under there, so you never know till they're underground how they're gonna react. I don't want them to say, yeah, then you do it, and then all of a sudden freak out. So it's kinda cool that, we have this drill, get people who wanna do it.
As long as we have a good schedule for that, it's something I think we can do. And a good schedule would have to probably be outside of normal working hours for us. And we have about a 3-hour window where we can use a hoist in order to do that.
Very perfect.
Most likely people going down will be the ambulance crew. So it'll be the medic and his EMT. I don't think they're gonna take everybody down.
Very small,
Yeah.
very tight, yep.
And like I said, we gotta, when it comes to this upcoming drill, we plan to see who will do it. It might not be that, not necessarily be that medic team, I don't wanna do this underground, they might not wanna do it. So hopefully we'll have, whoever does respond, we'll see what happens.
Good.
Any other discussion on the drill? Okay, we'll move on to the next item, B, discussion on annual emergency services plan. Town Superior Resolution Topper. Not action.
You've got a lot of edits that I don't think the rest of us have, so perhaps you have a little discussion would be a suggestion.
I'll circulate this probably to approve for the next meeting. It's just mostly grammatical things, the way it's not organizational, it's more of how things are written, so that it's clear. Like, for example, in the very first paragraph, the purpose of this emergency response plan, I call it the plan, so we can refer it to the plan throughout the rest of the document. Just simple things like that, adding in small words here and there, like of the resources, roles and responsibilities. Halfway down the page, on the first page of, it's page 2 there. So support for the guidance in establishing a positive culture of mutual respect is found in the Way We Work Handbook, the 5-year plan for the Superior Fire Department, and the mission statement of the Superior Police Department. Where do those documents reside? I know where our 5-year plan resides. Where does the 5-year plan reside?
For the fire department, we have one at the fire
It was
department.
part of the minutes for this meeting, and it's not posted anywhere, it's in the current document. But we could post it on the fire department website if you want. Police department has had 3 passes at adopting one and never got one through as far as I can tell. Yeah, I'll give you the drafts, there's a few. I don't think any of them is particularly good starting fodder, I think part of them may grow.
I think, you know, it's a good discussion point because as we all know, the ESA expires next year, right? And we need to start buttoning up those plans so that the next round of discussions around the potential of extending the ESA, make sure it aligns with plans that we all parties agree to, that those are what are, you know, important and use the buzzword mutually beneficial or have common interest in.
Okay.
So perhaps we don't need to link to it or anything, but I just don't want to say something that we don't actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is several draft police department ones, I don't know if they were one was actually formally adopted. I think with the new chief, we're probably gonna wanna re-adopt a new one completely, but the fire department one exists,
Yeah,
so.
we have one.
Okay.
So you could put pending police 5-year plan.
Okay.
No, just real, I read through this, like I said, I've seen some changes, people no longer, you know, want to change their jobs. Now, is this plan like when a full production plan, or just maybe just covers everything when there's a full production going on?
It's a guidance, really,
Guidance.
more than anything else.
Yeah.
It says that when you respond to a fire,
For
these are the
instance,
types of things you're gonna do. And then if the police respond, these are the types of things that we're gonna do. And this is how we're coordinated with the county versus with Superior Fire.
Yep.
And as we go down through it, there's various specifics on, you know, county responds to certain things, and Superior responds to other things, and why.
yes,
And
perfect sense.
there's another reference in here that's very similar about, we have a mutual aid agreement, intergovernmental agency agreement.
Mhm.
I don't know where that resides either.
Oh, the IGA for between the town and Revolution? No, we got it, but we can share it with you. It's not particularly enlightening, but we can share it.
I think it's referenced a couple times in here, and
It talks mostly about that we'll play nice when we work
Yeah.
together.
And if we do press releases, we'll do them jointly.
Okay.
So if we're doing unified command and we have a unified PIO, that, you know, they'll be discussing the releases before they're done. So,
okay.
But that probably ought to be, you know, we probably ought to circulate it, we can always read it. It's only 2 pages, I think.
Yeah.
And it's very aspirational.
Is it referring to IGAs between Superior and the county or anything like that?
It says intergovernmental,
Those only
We
Queen
have
Valley,
our-
you have one Queen Valley.
We have our MOU, not an intergovernmental, so
Page 7.
intergovernmental agreements.
We have tons of intergovernmental agreements for mutual aid and everything. Green
Right.
Valley, we have an automatic aid. Tri-City, we have a mutual aid.
Kearney.
County, we have a mutual aid.
County, yeah,
County,
or countywide.
page 7, it says intergovernmental agreement with the Pima County Sheriff.
Well, we have an IGA for dispatch, for code enforcement, for animal control. We've got like, I don't know which ones this refers to.
Chris, I think just references to those documents in there is fine. I mean, they're not agreements we have any say in, or resolution has no say in, or really interest in
Okay.
reviewing.
Okay. And then, still back on page 2, at the very bottom of the page, we call it the Emergency Services Plan, and really it should be the Emergency Response Plan. And I just deleted the 2017 adopted off of that, just leave it as the title. And then there's also right in the middle of the page, in that same paragraph where we have the way we work, that last couple of words, it refers to this document as the emergency services plan, and really this is an emergency response plan. So it's just cleaning up a little bit, just, yeah, just minor, small things.
I would make a note on page 11. It doesn't mention ICS 400, and that's required for all chiefs, so. You might have to add that. And it's, I don't know why it's required, it's for major regional long-term cleanups that we got, like the Valdez, that was it's kind of major long-term cleanup, so. It's not very relevant, but it's a requirement.
400, items 400, ICS 400.
So will you circulate
This,
your
okay, the one-
revisions?
let me just quickly glance through this and make sure that I have nothing significant that I'm leaving out. So on page 6, right in the very middle of the page, the second paragraph underneath underground incidents. Resolution Copper personnel has a primary response for underground medical incidents. Resolution Copper personnel will bring the injured patients to the surface whenever possible in order to provide EMS. In situations where it is not possible, which is what we were just talking about, to immediately bring victims above ground, Superior Fire personnel will be escorted underground for initial patient treatment and stabilization. Resolution Copper provides the training necessary for Superior Fire personnel to be able to participate in underground medical responses. So I just wrote myself a note that I wanted to make sure we talked about this for some time in 2020, where we have a very small team, and that maybe that's part of a drill where we test those types of emergency responders for those types of environments, and how long it takes us to train people to do those things, or whether we should have regular training for the self-contained, for the SCSRs. I don't know, that might be too much to bite off, but I think that's something we need to talk about as a group, separately as part of the drills.
Probably something to add into a yearly training regimen, because you don't want to have to, if somebody's down there with life-threatening injuries and you've got to take EMS down, if I'm the victim, I sure as hell don't want to be waiting for you guys to train somebody how to use their
Right.
SCSR
And I
before
think
they
there's
come down and save
4 or
me.
5 of us that actually went through that, when, you remember during that snowstorm, we had to basically, we had to leave apparatus up there in case we had to go into, and we never sweat.
Yeah.
And so that's, it's about
Yeah, it's not very much.
it only takes a few minutes per person to do the training. But with a group of people, it takes quite a bit longer, and if there's one person that's struggling, the whole group gets slowed down. It's something to consider. I'm not saying we should do it. It's something I think it's worthwhile talking about and getting it in some type of a plan going forward. But that's a 3-month training requirement too. Every 3 months you have to go back and repeat the training.
I have a question. What's the possibility of extending your yearly refresher to interested police and fire members?
For MSHA?
Because if they had full
MSHA training?
MSHA training, so new miner is 2 days, existing miner is 1, and underground's an additional 1. Some of us have already had it, it would just be a refresher.
For full MSHA underground is a 40
It's a
hour.
40-hour
Initial
class,
training is a 40 hour. But then, yeah, it's 8 hours annually.
It used to be you could count the final day as on-the-job training. They don't allow that anymore.
I took mine 20 years ago, on my new miner, so, but once you get new miner, you never have to take it again, so.
Yep.
My job right now, I gotta keep my MSHA, because I go to South Ground, so I then don't
So you need the underground with thing, which is a 1-day class.
And
Well,
that covers,
yeah.
if you're only surface trained, you have to go back and do the full 40 hours of underground. But it's something to consider, I mean, because that would keep, you're trained on SCSRs in those meetings,
Yeah.
or in those trainings.
There's a lot that I think we can talk about that. I like the idea that we should plan for it, not try to be, try to problem solve it tonight, but I think we should, yeah.
We're not talking about 30 people, I mean, there'd be a small group that would be in those, I think it'd be a good idea.
That's another thing too, is it increases the transportation between 2 agencies, because, a lot of our guys get hired for mine safety up there and for your mine rescue team, so if they were certified to do the job, it would be a lot easier to transfer them back and forth.
Yep.
That's just a sideline thing. Sorry.
Good.
No, I'm something to put in this, the new agreement, something like that, because you can make it happen. At least it's the possibility of it happening will be in this agreement, and we probably get some training out of it, which is good for everybody, very true.
And just going through this process on this plan will help us hash out some of those ideas and see
Yep.
how we can improve. So, second to last paragraph on page 6 there, the last sentence there, Superior Fire will hold a class and on hands and/or hands-on drill with at least one automatic aid, mutual aid agency calendar quarterly.
No, page 6. Page 5.
Page 6, second to the last paragraph.
It's probably page 6 for you, because you have your edits in there and it's
Oh,
pushed stuff
I'm
out.
sorry.
Page 5.
The paragraph
I
on
figured it out already.
automatic aid and mutual aid agreements,
Okay.
and that last sentence, Superior Fire will hold a class and/or hands-on drill with at least one automatic aid mutual aid agency calendar quarterly, as those agencies may be available to participate.
That's Queen Valley.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know, have you guys been inviting Queen Valley to these drills?
Yes, we are.
Have any other guys attended?
Yes, one time we had a pretty big drill, but a lot of lessons learned there. Now lessons learned on that one, so,
You got
So maybe
last
you're-
year, right?
yeah.
So maybe plan for your next one upcoming to include Queen Valley. It'd be nice to invite everybody there, we have a lot of mutual aid agreements.
I'm just curious how we keep track of that, to say that we're satisfying that.
We're supposed to keep files on every drill at the fire department, and when they do a NIMS survey, which they could do, they do it for the bigger agencies all the time, they don't do it for little agents like for us forever. But you're supposed to have, if you look in this plan, it lists the number of trainings you're supposed to have per year, and you're supposed to keep a file on each of them. It's page 4 of the town-wide plan. It tells you exactly how many drills you're supposed to have and how you're supposed to document them.
I know we keep track of the drills we have at the station, I know that. We just haven't been adding units in there.
I guess it doesn't, well, okay. But they can audit that. You're supposed to especially have one large NIMS drill that every year that you keep all the forms that go with it, and you put it in the file. And, I don't know that, we did it like 3 years ago. I don't know if you guys have done one since. I think we did that for the
Smokestack.
smokestack.
Yeah,
Made
people
an
were,
industry a lot of that.
So that's supposed to be every year. But you're also supposed to be having tabletops and everything else. And this is based on the national NIM standard for training. So where this came from is I sat down with the Pinal County Emergency Manager, and he said that each town is supposed to adopt a procedure like this. And we were the first town to try it. And we went through and developed this in cooperation with them, and then the town didn't want to adopt it. I think they were afraid of, I think it said that the town council and the manager and everybody would have to go to training and they freaked out, so. I think that, it's national law, we're supposed to be following it, so we'll have to be pulling it back out, and I'm sorry, that's the next
Yes, that's fine.
agenda.
Under the civil unrest and demonstrations, the second paragraph, it begins, it says, the civil unrest protocol. Is that a town of Superior protocol, or is that a resolution protocol?
Do we have one in our department protocol? I don't think we did when this was written.
I don't know of one.
I don't know. I know we have our department policy, we work with Pinal County for large civil unrest, for manpower and staffing. We're looking to have 2 guys to go out there and help out, but, that's where you have the 3-tier response for 1, 2, and 3, and the second tier, so Pinal County comes over and will be taken into command.
That's the following paragraph, so yeah, you're right, tier 1,
Tier 2.
first tier, second tier,
First tier
third
is us. We would be your initial presence because of our location to you,
Mhm.
our closeness to you, and then depending on staffing, we would do your presence, try to secure the scene to the best of our abilities. But second tier is the Pinal County would come in with a command post and start sending things to command and everything else.
Mhm.
And then your third tier would be where you have outside agencies, like BPS or whoever, who are coming in to assist.
So,
Is that the protocol? Is that what this is first tier, second tier, third tier? Is that what the protocol
I don't
is?
know if that's a protocol per our policies, but that's you know, generally how it would work in the town this size because of the staffing.
Technically, this document is a policy.
The NIS policy,
Uh,
or this document right here.
This document is a policy that is required in our contract to develop and all our agencies sent on to, which kind of when its organization and the council has approved the document. So, technically, this is a policy, so.
But that would work, it's online.
So maybe we should just put that word in there that says the following civil unrest protocol. And then that cleans up the thinking, okay. I like it, by the way, I think that it's straight to the point. The pre-incident mapping, grammatical change on that technical note, on the map revisions occur periodically and changes that have recently been incorporated without updating the map shall be communicated at the time of entry. That's said elsewhere in the document, I just cleaned up the language. So that when you come on site and security hands you a map and the map hasn't been updated to reflect new changes, mostly the changes for us will be road closures. That should really be it. We would communicate it at that time. And the road closures will be easy for us because the barricades will be up.
There's also, I mean, it depends on how long since you guys did familiarization, because, you know, I did patrol up there for a lot of years, but I'd go up there and get lost with all those new roads you put in for information, so.
You know, that's one thing I was gonna ask you about, because it states in here that you can offer the host on site, to familiarize ourselves with the facilities. How do we go about doing that? I have a lot of staff, including myself, that hasn't been on the grounds.
So I think Scott sent an invite for, I want to say it was August, and then he delayed it because there was some kind of a conflict.
August
24th. Ours is police that, we wanna set police on fire because he said they have, you know, stuff we need to know more about, and then there's stuff we want the police department to know about.
Yeah.
And of course, it'll be both we need to know about, but ours is set for the 24th. We did have the 17th, but we have an event going on that day, so they moved to the 24th.
If you've got a meeting or a training session that you've set on a date, tell us what that is, and we can coordinate with you. And we can do both plants at the same time, we can do core processing too.
Now, excuse me, because I'm new to all this. Now, I have reserves, and they don't work on set schedules. You know, they come here and there. How difficult would it be to say I need one or two guys? And is it like hours long, an hour long, or is it something that's feasible where if I say, hey, next month I have one guy on this date, can we get him through? But it might be just, I don't have a lot of reserves fortunately, but
Is it just for surface ops?
just for
Yeah.
conversation.
What's planned, is planned, just more on where the gates are, where we have security sensitive areas.
Because even if we had a call out, right, we would send our people to the gate to
As
escort
escort.
people in.
And it's supposed to provide a map, right? Something like that.
My suggestion was, you know, the chief is new here, and if you guys could make a special accommodation to take
Oh, yeah,
the chief
for sure.
around,
That would, and then you can see what's necessary, and then we can plan from that, okay.
That'll work.
Because you don't want a map of all the roads on West Platte today, because they'll be changed tomorrow.
Well, that's my next question.
We can do that easily, that would help. At the bottom of the standards compliance for National Fire Protection Association Firefighter 2 certification, there's 3 paragraphs in there. The very last sentence in paragraph 3, the ESA has set the goal that the 5-year plan draft will be completed by summer 2017.
they were done, the drafts were all done in that time frame. Fires was adopted and clearly and easily, and I don't know if you all remember, you weren't here on the committee at that point, but we've had lots of reported starts for the police 5-year plan. So it was presented and rejected and presented and rejected, so we're gonna have to get that straightened out. But I don't know if this line can just be deleted because it should be something that's regularly updated.
Okay.
But fire departments, if this just seems to refer specifically to fire department, that one's already done.
Well, this is strictly the fire department, so I'm okay deleting it. I don't know if it was an aspirational thing, and since this was adopted in July of 2017, saying that we're gonna have it done by the end of the summer that year.
Well, it was pretty well done by then. All these documents are pretty much done at the same time. Another thing to mention is, Fire 1 and 2 is one of the basic requirements for the department. The only people who are not Fire 1 and 2 on hire are generally kids we hire in town and they get trained up in. So, but, you know, all the other towners are Fire 1 and 2.
Yep.
What's your compliance right now? Do you have any that aren't Fire 1 and 2?
We have some that are not, but those
We
are
have-
must be. But,
One red shirt that's not, and then we have one green shirt that's not.
But the green shirt is a
Right,
connector, it's not a
connector.
firefighter. So you have one probie.
Yeah.
I know our requirements, you hire, you have the EMT or 1 and 2, and you have to get the,
Yeah, and then within 2 years, you have to get, if you're a brand new hire, and we only hire the kids in town that way. But if you're a brand new hire, you have a year, you're EMT, and a year, you're fire. So within 2 years, they get it. But that's been a policy for 20 years now.
oh yeah. I started 23 years ago.
That last paragraph, training requirement and shall site induction, I added a whole sentence in there. Periodic site visits to keep emergency service providers current with training are scheduled at a mutually convenient time with Resolution Copper, Superior Fire, and Police Department. That's to answer your, as long as we can accommodate each other, I think we'll be as flexible as we need to be. I just wanted to get it in writing. Next one, quarterly training. I deleted that whole second sentence in that first paragraph. During the period of time that the consulting firm is involved, Public Safety Research Group will schedule and plan quarterly process drills. Following that group's disengagement, I just put a period and put a capital T for the responsibility for scheduling, puts it back on the town superior and Resolution Copper.
We might want to mention that you guys have rolled up a subcommittee, as the 2 chiefs and a representative for RC, to plan the drills with some, I guess the phrase would be, keep them quiet, right? So that so the line guys don't learn about it before it happens.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the whole point, so we're not discussing it here in open forum. Not that our guys listen particularly, but it's still best to keep them as quiet as we can before we do it.
I'm gonna write confidential.
Fair enough.
That may not be the right word to describe it, but you're right. And then the next sentence, I just put in quarterly training will be held at a mutually agreed upon location and drills will be conducted on a Resolution Copper location. So I just changed some of the phrasing on the same sentence. On that, at the bottom of that page, there's an emergency radio communication. It says Resolution Copper can talk directly by radio with Superior Fire. Is that true?
We got a radio at our station.
I did not know that.
It's not the best approach, it's not like we're on the same frequencies. Especially if, because we've got to write a SHISGAP grant this year to try to get you guys 800 megahertz. And then you guys aren't going to be, you're going to have to, you'll have like one radio and what if somebody doesn't bring on them?
I mean, we got the one radio that told us last time, keep it on channel 5. It's not a really used channel when we need for emergencies. And they want us to just keep it up a little bit, we can listen to it, because there's hardly any traffic on it. That way, if there is a call go through, we're here on that radio before we hit it through our 911, which makes response faster.
So some of you guys are sitting.
Yeah.
Is it in the day room, is that where it is?
Yeah.
On top refrigerator, right there.
Which is great, except if you're on call and the.
Oh yeah, if you're on a call, ambulance, that's a whole
We
different
don't carry
story.
around those.
No. Because
Well,
if we're on a call, we're on that
That's not practical, the battery die, and, you know, that's kind of the problem with being on different frequencies. And something the group may consider at some point is investing in a few multi-band radios for the agencies. And they're expensive, but they would solve one of these issues.
I'm just not sure how this whole section should play out, whether that's something we want over the long term, leave alone. I don't know.
Do you guys have two radios from us?
We do not.
Because you can't talk to PD at all, they're 800 megahertz already.
I think you have two though.
one.
It says 2 portable radios, Superior Police Department to enable direct communication. That's not right.
No, and we can't afford it, they're $2,500 a piece.
For a lot more. I'm gonna go to the 8,000 and see those are about 8,000 each.
Gosh.
Yeah, they're super expensive. Usually the number on the radio is what the price tag is. Yeah, they're
Right.
pretty bad.
Yeah, we have no choice but to buy Motorola because that's what the county gets, and Motorola triple the price and we do.
And we're on the same frequency as PCSO, so if you were to key up on us, you're gonna key up with us, everybody.
The entire county.
Yeah, we shouldn't be doing that. I don't think that's what this paragraph is talking about. I think that we at some time gave you our frequency radios, and two, and one went to fire and one went to PD.
Yeah, we got one to know for sure.
I think that's what this is only about.
I think the chief's gonna have to go back and look through his room and see if he can find it. You know, he's the third chief in a year, so.
So, you guys be me radio? I gotta go look. I gotta go look.
Probably sitting in a trunk somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that was everything. You put the note in for the SCS 400.
And I don't know if we just want to take this separate NIMS policy and just reference the NIMS policy rather than list on that document. I think we do.
You mean individually?
No, just say this is the full thorough policy for NIMS, right? But you can, listing the individual training items, you can do that if you want. That's no harm in it, but this spells it out in more detail. Once it's updated, of course, and I did send you guys the Word document so you can start working with it. And you can get rid of some of my ridiculous pretty stuff. I was just playing with the document.
So, that would govern the actual town policy, right, the NIMS?
Once you adopt this, it's,
I think, yeah, you gotta just reference the current NIMS policy as adopted by the town, because if that was to be changed at any point, then you gotta go back and change another document, which is not very efficient.
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna just reference it. Yeah.
Under the incident safety, the third and fourth bullets, there's one in there that says that you'll wear your SCBA's under an IDLA atmosphere.
yes.
I'm not sure that that's, in our regulatory environment, that would be something we would never do. If it's an IDLH atmosphere, regardless of whether you're SCBA, we wouldn't even go into it.
It depends on what you're talking about. For a fire hazmat tech, if there's ideally atmosphere and fire involvement, SCBA is the standard response anyway, because the fire is a greater risk than that. But if you're
Hazardous materials.
if it's a pure hazardous material, an atmosphere, most of our crews are gonna be doing thermal and calling for a tech. But technically it'd be either class B for certain or class A's. But anything with fire involvement, the standard response for any level, techs, anybody, is TRAMS.
Okay. And then I just want to make sure we talked about it, to make sure I understand what
And it's a little nuanced in the document. If it's very simple, the nuanced may not be
okay.
possible.
The next one, that next bullet, all fires on Resolution Copper site require use of SCBA's. This includes vehicle fires and brush fires.
Vehicle fires for sure. To me, if a brush fire, depending where it's at, I mean, I don't know what's been in the brush, because you can run into tires on this side of the road for us. That's bad for you.
Did they say that, next sentence, and they'll say that?
Yeah.
Command may allow brush fires to be handled without the use of SCBA, depending on weight and magnitude.
Yeah.
Wildland crews do not wear SCBA's,
No.
just for your knowledge.
They don't.
They have those masks they put over their face if they're in it for days long, but they generally do not wear SCBA's. This is particulate. Basic fire with no, if it's burning brush, it doesn't have toxics in it usually, so it's just, you don't have to worry about that in the house because you're burning furniture and stuff.
Plastics, and everything else.
And the last thing I had was, I added a table at the very end for revision history, so we can keep track of the changes from, every time it's revised. There's on the page one, it talks about the revision of the policy, but it doesn't have a revision history to go with it. I just thought it would be nice to be able to say, okay, it was initially adopted in July 8th of 2017, July 18th, which is today, we revised it with the current language and grammatical changes, whatever it may be. If there's something that's detailed that we want to list into what the changes are, we can do it there. If not, that's okay, if you're not.
No, that's fine, that's great. We generally do that on most town documents, so it's
Okay.
wise. Comment I'd make on the page 14 is eliminate individual names and list titles, because Jacob Procavina isn't here.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. Can we, yeah, I missed that entirely.
That's fine. If we just eliminate the names, then it's just their title and whoever's filling that role. And that's kind of what this committee is. It's a, what do you call it, ex officio, whoever's got the job has the position.
Okay. So, what's the process for this next? What do we do next?
We adopt those, we do those revisions, we have a final document, and then we have a motion at the next meeting to adopt it.
Okay. So should I take this and clean it up based upon the conversations that we just had? And
Yes.
then recirculate that through you again?
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll send it out to the entire group, and they can give you comments on it, and if nobody has a problem with it, it'll go on the agenda to be adopted.
Okay.
This one's a little more complex because, again, it has to be, it's a town-wide policy, so we're gonna have to, this committee's gonna have to do it, and the council's gonna have to discuss it and adopt it. And we're probably gonna have to, an ordinance or resolution to adopt it. So, the town doesn't have a lot of policies, but this one is one that is required by law. You can tell we've been trying to do it since 2012.
Yeah, I saw that one in 2012, maybe go under our other position, so.
And you might check, my suggestion would be talk to Kanawha County Emergency Management before you get too far into this and find out if there's a new version or if the 2012 version still works. So I didn't create this, I just stole it and modified it.
Well, that's fine, because I had Captain Brennan go look into Pound County and how they did theirs, so they do have a plan.
So on those plans and the intergovernmental agency agreements and all of those, we're just gonna leave that language in place, the 5-year plan, the mission statement, just leave that language in place, okay.
So we do need to put the police 5-year plan back in the consideration. And I know the chief's drinking from the fire hose. That's probably not a good analogy for a police chief, but he's got a lot of stuff coming at him. I don't think he has time to do this in the next few months. But after that, we need to get it back on the agenda.
I need to try, so I really wanted to change that mission statement in there. I know it's petty, but.
No, it's good.
it's pretty bad.
I'll shoot you the 2 drafts that were given to us and the PowerPoint I think you guys were subjected to at one point, which did not go over well. Yeah, probably my suggestion is throw it out and start from scratch. I don't find anything in there that was really useful.
Apologize for so many changes on that.
No, it's
Yeah,
great.
stuff like-
That's moving forward, and so that's great.
Okay, so are we good with the discussion on the emergency services plan? Yep. You all know where we're going from here?
Yep.
We'll move on to the next item then. C, discussion on NIMS compliancy for the whole town.
That's something we'll be working on. I'll give Richard, Captain Brennan about it. See what changes. And I'll look at the policy, the one you have for 2012. I saw that one. Of course, there's some changes we gotta make. Maybe some things updated since then. So it might take a little bit. We'll work on that.
Do you need help? Can we help you?
You know what? If I will do. I'll reach out to you
I'm
guys.
good with Microsoft Word.
I would suggest that because we have the different levels and that I did have to set that, if we're talking page 3 and page 4.
Yeah.
The different training, if we keep some of those descriptions fairly broad, then they can be referenced in the emergency response plan so that resolution can reference.
Refer to NIMS form or, like that.
So if you have like entry-level responder and things like that, those are fine, because then they have entry-level responders as well. Or public works workers could be, I don't know how you would phrase that, it's not public works, but to a minor. It's something to consider. The drills, something you can also consider is, I put 6 drills in because we have 12 drills a year and we have to hit half of them, right, to stay active. That's why the number of drills is 6. But you could lower that to 4. Tabletops is a suggestion for all the NIMS drills, and then 1 full scale every year. So this one says 9 drills total. So you have to adapt that.
Are you doing regular tabletops now?
We haven't done one in a long time, a real long time, tabletops. But we need to get back into doing those.
They're really easy to set up and good, because you can, in this July, you don't have to get all your guys out and kill them in the heat. You can come to your room and have a more complex discussion. But there are sandbox things, I mean, you might consider getting yourself a sandbox, that's a suggestion.
All right.
Anything else we need to talk about this? This kind of, sounds like we're kind of early days to even discuss it, because we've got to try to find a home to draft, right?
Anything with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause like, and I like to see what other, maybe smaller communities are doing also, if they're doing anything.
Just to tell you, I was the, things might have changed, but we were the first city in the entire county to try this, and they were getting a lot of read from, they get a lot of buy-in from the rest of the cities. So I think you're probably gonna be looking bigger cities if anybody's got it. And Pinal County didn't push it very hard, because I think they got the same reaction from everybody. None of the mayors wants to sit in a, 2 weeks of classes.
Oh, I know, it's,
Yep.
that's understandable.
We can barely get our leaders to do that sometimes, it's hard.
Oh, it is.
And, most of the mayors and councilmen in small towns are not getting paid, so we're asking them to volunteer to sit in the classroom for 2 weeks.
But it's valuable training at the same time. It really is, from a broad perspective on how agencies interact and delegate authority and the incident command structure and how all those things fit together.
It is.
Excellent.
Any other discussion on that item? Okay, we'll move on to item 6, it should be adjournment. We have a motion,
Make a motion to adjourn.
that's the next motion to adjourn, we have a second?
Second. My second.
You got it? Okay, second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. 6:46.